This is a film study look at new Baltimore Ravens outside linebacker Dre'Mont Jones, who they just acquired from the Tennessee Titans in exchange for, I believe it's a conditional fifth-round pick that possibly could turn into a fourth. Dre'Mont Jones has 4.5 sacks in his last month with the Titans, so he's surging from a production standpoint. Listed at 6'3", 280. I don't think he necessarily looks 280 on film, but definitely a rugged, physical, very aggressive football player who plays downhill, if you will. Played under Mike Macdonald last year in Seattle, and I got the chance to watch some of his film last season and in the offseason. He looks like he's developing a couple of different pass rush moves, in my opinion, that could be what's leading to his increase in production lately. I've got some film here from his most recent 2 games with the Titans. Week 8 against the Colts, and then Week 9 last week. Who's he going to compete for time with? I think it's Ojabo, to be honest with you. I did think David Ojabo played well against the run against Miami, but the level, there's no comparison between physicality and tenacity between these two guys. Now, this happens to be a pass rush where essentially he's going to get chipped or comboed by the right tackle and the running back at the same time. He seems to be developing a couple of moves that I didn't necessarily see last year in Seattle. Basically, one of which is this inside spin. Doesn't gain a ton of ground here necessarily. This is a 3rd and 19. Ball's out quick, completed to Pittman, well short of the first down. And I'll give you the end zone angle. I will tell you this, that in the film, if I saw of him in Seattle, and what my opinion of him, based on my recollection, would have been, is extremely physical, but somewhat reckless at times. In fact, he'd be like so physical at times in Seattle that you would see a play, a lead blocker coming on. He was almost more focused on delivering the blow rather than reorienting to the football. That's not the case in the 2025 film that we have here. This is the same play from the end zone angle. Like I said, it's a 3rd and 19. In Seattle, he's more of a bull rush guy, half man, if you will, power rusher, I guess you could call it. There's some definite rush versatility, if you ask me, first of all. And then second of all, at least film evidence here recently of him utilizing a move that I hadn't seen him use in Seattle before. I do wonder if there's more rush freedom with this Tennessee defense than there is in Baltimore. That's not to be a Debbie Downer, but I wonder if these types of moves, these inside spin moves, if he will not have a two-way go as much in Baltimore as he did in Tennessee. But he's 28 years old. 35 career sacks. You're talking about an expiring contract. I think Tennessee signed him 1 year for $8.5 million. So he'll obviously be incredibly motivated to try to get paid once again. You will not have to question, doubt, or try to, as a coach or promote effort, physicality, and his motor. If those are the things you're looking for, then Dre'Mont Jones is your guy. Against the run, kind of resets the line of scrimmage. It's this split zone concept. All the offensive linemen are working in his direction, and the tight end going opposite. Played physical against the run with the Seahawks, in my opinion. I find it hard to believe that we just happened to pick up a player who played for Mike Macdonald last year. I'm quite sure that there was a phone call and some information exchanged in terms of, hey, what kind of guy is this? How does he practice? What's his ability to fit within a rotation? Again, I don't think that you will have to coach or promote effort or toughness out of him at all. If anything, he might be the guy that at times you have to tell to dial it back a little bit. Same play from the end zone angle. What I recalled of him from last year with the Seahawks fits totally in line with this play against the run, meaning he'll hold up at the point of attack. Maybe some technical things are not perfect, or you'll find guys who are better, but all the effort is there and the desire to try to get to the football. I think he's going to rotate in for the Ravens team, especially with Tavius Robinson being out. That group, after we traded away Odafe Owe and then lost T-Rob for a long time, that group needed a talent infusion, needed someone else who was capable. And in my opinion, this is a good trade, even though we all would have liked a little bit more of a splash or higher profile acquisition. Off the right side here, again, you're going to see a spin, and I think he's a veteran. He's been around a long time. 35 career sacks, like I said, I think over 70 quarterback hits. He sees the running back motion out, so he knows there's no one to help. And again, you have this opportunity to talk about or compare whether or not he'll be able to, or encouraged, I should say, to do some of these moves in Baltimore. We have, it seems like, tried to be extremely disciplined in our rush path and almost limit our guys to one-way goes. Again, he's not the most technical guy, in my opinion, but tremendous effort, and a guy that if you show up to play football against him and he gets 30, 35 snaps, he will try to wear you out. This is a physical football player that I think is right in line with what the Ravens need. From a statistical standpoint, obviously played really well last week against the Chargers. Their offensive line position is, from a depth standpoint, is deteriorating quickly. So a stunt inside on a 2nd and 9. I think this is on LA's second possession. Typical pass steps by the left guard and left tackle. Running back working across, and he plays downhill. Dre'Mont Jones is a downhill guy at all times. He seems a little quicker to me than the film that I recall from the last couple of years. Like I said, he played his first 4 years with the Denver Broncos, finished his 4th year there, I believe, with 6.5, maybe 7 sacks. Signed with Seattle, only stayed there 2 years. I do like his film. Very rugged, handsy. Almost looks a little bit quicker in the 2025 film. And I'm using that previous play and then this one to kind of illustrate. This is actually consecutive snaps from the Chargers' second possession. 3rd and 9. He's going to get a sack on. This is a pretty long stunt here. Long way to go. And watch how they just collapse in the left side of the pocket. They being the pick by the nose tackle. Blitz off the edge. I believe that's a safety. And then Dre'Mont Jones all the way around, colliding with the other guard. I think that's Bradley Bozeman that they run over. He gets a sack as Herbert thinks about throwing it away. I can't imagine, and I don't mean to denigrate this player, because I was pleased to see him perform better against Miami. Not in pass rush, but against the run. Ojabo showed signs of being a competent outside linebacker last Thursday night. However, the last 2 plays that I just showed you, could you imagine Ojabo running that stunt 2 snaps ago, or the long loop here and collapsing the pocket entirely into Justin Herbert's lap? I cannot. I don't think that he's a guy who is going to be an interior pass rusher full-time. Not that with his size and strength and athletic ability, he wouldn't be a player who could potentially move in there, but that's just not what I see so far from Dre'Mont Jones on film. Perhaps lining up head up over a tackle as part of a stunt. In this case, he's going to be unblocked against the Chargers. This is a really cool stunt, in my opinion, that the Titans run. It's cover 0. I just love what they do with the blitzing nickel. This inside linebacker loops all the way around, not to blitz, but to cover the running back on a pass release that the inside linebacker, seems to know is coming. And then because the nickel is blitzing, this safety is going to move from the other side of the field and focus on the number 3 receiver. What it does is it leaves Dre'Mont Jones unblocked off the edge. I thought he got his hand on this football. He's not credited with a PD. It ends up being incomplete to the running back. I think it's Vidal. Same play from the end zone angle. Here is Jones off the left side. Like I said, he's going to be a free rusher. So safety's going to step up and occupy the right tackle. That's what creates the free lane. Inside linebacker's going to roll all the way outside of all this congestion and traffic, and he's going to cover the running back. Off screen to our right, you have the nickel blitzer being engaged by the left tackle. Jones did not look this explosive out of his first step to me in Seattle. There's a difference from what it seems to me. And again, I would not, if I had to guess, I would say he's in the 265, maybe 270 range, but I could totally be wrong there. Third possession now, pass rush against the left tackle from the left side, And this is actually Jihad Ward. Yes, that Jihad Ward, who's lined up along with Jones off the right side of the defense, the left side for the offense. To compare the two, far more athletic, a whole lot quicker. They don't get anything done here. The left tackle Alt clearly handles Jihad Ward on the stunt, and then Jones is swallowed up by the guard. But to compare the two, Jihad Ward was never super athletic. We all knew that. Jones brings a different level of explosion, especially out of his first step. A bull rush here where I think you're going to see more of his technique attempts to get to the quarterback. I'm not sure about topside wins, meaning I haven't seen a ton of cross chops, which we know Mike Green utilizes a lot. I think this is a very specific acquisition for the Ravens, that they probably have an idea on how they're going to use him and what specific pass rush techniques they'll ask him to execute. He'll rush to the outside here, and that's Jihad Ward up to the top side. Ward actually gets credit for the sack. I do want to point out the ability to get off the football. It's possible he's also jumping the snap, but the right guard, I mean, this is what everyone does now when they go with silent counts on the road. So the guard is making a signal, and Jones is clearly jumping the snap, getting off the football. If we can get him off the football like this compared to the rest of the defensive linemen for the Titans, this is a win for the Ravens because we haven't been getting upfield enough. Green in the last 2 or 3 weeks has been compared to other guys, and occasionally Kyle Van Noy. I think it's Jihad Ward that finishes this one off. Dre'Mont Jones goes all the way around the edge and tries to loop back in here before Herbert gets taken to the ground. Somewhat limited in the film that I had available from this season. This is going to be a 2nd and 4 later in the game against the Chargers. He'll redirect and I think ends up splitting a sack with Jihad Ward. So compare Ward getting up the field with Jones here off the left side. I wouldn't say that Jones is an elite athlete compared to the rest of the edge defenders, across the NFL. I will say that consistently you see attempts by the last 2 teams they faced, the Colts and the Chargers, to chip him with a running back and or a tight end off their right side. With Tavius Robinson's injury, this is potentially a really good fit. Number one, a veteran, very tough. I cannot claim or offer to you that there is a ton of versatility, meaning dropping out in coverage. Certainly is a guy who could play head up on tackles. In no way, shape, or form do I see him being a 3-technique D tackle like I've heard other people mention. Maybe occasionally in pass rush situations like a dime look. Sure, he's rugged, he's not stiff, plays downhill, plays with superb aggression. You'll never have to tell him to turn the volume up. Dre'Mont Jones looks like a guy that, especially in Baltimore, with limited snaps. And when I say limited, I mean he's going to be splitting time with Van Noy, Mike Green, perhaps Ojabo, Simpson out there as a hybrid at times in a dime look. In my opinion, when Dre'Mont Jones is on the field for this Ravens team, which hopefully is this week against the Vikings, he will be 120 miles an hour the whole time. That's just the way he plays football. It's what I saw on film with Seattle the last 2 years. Is he ever going to be, does he ever look like to me he would be a 12-sack guy? No, he does not. But he's an effort player. Certainly, will run into sacks or run into plays because he's committed to whatever he's asked to do. I like the acquisition for what we gave up. If the Ravens were to find something bigger out there up to the trade deadline, of course I would advocate for pursuing that. In any case, you guys are more than welcome to let me know what you think of the video in the comment section. Number one, if you agree with my assessment that I like the pickup, while obviously recognizing that we would have enjoyed a more high-quality, consistent pass rusher to get to the quarterback and help out our defense in that way. But nonetheless, if you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comment section, number one. And then number two, if you think other Ravens fans would like to listen to my thoughts on the Dre'Mont Jones acquisition, as well as the film that I used to try to illustrate my points, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.